we can have it. All right, I'll record the first part, and then and I thought what we could do is complete this first part, and then I'll record the second part. And at the end, if we think it's worth sharing, then we can share it with maybe the 100 more group, or with the people that are here. But there'll be two separate files, okay? So they won't be merging with each other unless I forget. So I can always forget. All right. So today we're going to look at Laura's going to talk about some more technology things, and then Roxanne's going to talk about Vision Thread. So some of you have tried Vision Thread, so I thought it would be useful for us to have her talk more about it, because that's something in the summer. That's sort of a summertime project. And then Peter is going to speak about this ACUE micro course on equitable teaching, which I think you might want to think about doing if you haven't done anything around giving opportunity to something on equity. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Get Inspired conference on Tuesday, May 25th. And then we'll have our 100 more faculty. And then Jordana wants to talk about the book club. She said she'll do a quick announcement about that. So we have a full schedule, full agenda. It just kept getting larger and larger as the week went on. So Laura, why don't you, let me do something. Let me give you.
Okay, so
okay, you have share screen.
Can you enable sharing for me?
I think I did it. See if I did it.
Okay, now I can. Okay, so I will be talking about infographics and how it can be used to jazz up our syllabi. So I've always loved the look of sketch notes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the concept, but all of us have doodled. A lot of us have doodled during classes. So the concept is the same, where you take notes, but you also doodle. And there is some research evidence that you digest this information much better, but it looked so hard. So for example, this is the sketch note syllabus. And I thought, oh, you need to be artistically blessed, and then you need to save it somehow. But I always loved the look. And I thought, if I were a student, I would love a syllabus like this. And then I was taking, this course is anti-racist. I'm still in it. So Jen and Gordon are doing it. And Jen Bauer shared her syllabus. It looks like this. And the light bulb went on for me. I'm like, oh my God, the students must love it. And Jen says that, thank you, Jen. She shared the syllabus with me. I asked her permission to share it with you because I was just wowed by it. The students loved it. The syllabus is much shorter because you have to make it shorter in order to make it visually appealing. And Jen is great because she also talked about the platforms that can enable you, even if you're not artistically blessed, to create syllabi like this. So what can you do in order to create a syllabus like this? There are readily available templates, and there are two free platforms that I tested and I can vouch for them. One is Pictochart, and the other one is Canva. And you can also use Adobe InDesign. So if you are in graphic design, you probably know how to use it, and there are so many cool tutorials, but Adobe InDesign is not free. So this is a Pictochart syllabi. This is a sample of Adobe InDesign syllabi. And then all those platforms, they already have developed templates, icons, images, charts that you can use for free. You don't need to design them. But if you need more icons, there is a very good platform called Flaticon, and it has tons of free icons that you can use. You just-
Lara,
Mhm.
Linda had a comment. How can this work with our syllabus checklist? You know, the syllabus checklist that we have.
You including all this information into your syllabus. So I'm not encouraging you to just nix it. You're still including all the things you would include into your syllabus: objectives, expectations, and Jen has all those things in her syllabus. So then we're turning in our syllabi, she turns it in, and
they're going to talk about like 5 different things here to start, and I don't need.
So you had mentioned, Lara, I'm sorry, do you want us to wait for questions at the end? Would that be better?
I don't know, Sally, what do you say?
Whatever works for you is fine with me.
I'm
Why don't you
fine
go
with
through? Why don't you
whatever.
go through it and then people can hold it.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay, thank
so
you.
just to see how much time we have, because we're kind of on a tight schedule, right? Okay, so I linked some tutorials, so several tutorials for Pictochart. This one is a teacher that shows you particular syllabi, and she tells you, okay, I use this template, then I use this. So pretty much step by step. And the Pictochart tutorial is just a general tutorial, how you can start using the platform in order to create your flyers, your syllabi, your Instagram posts, your anything you want. Here's a YouTube Canva tutorial. And then here's a tutorial for Adobe InDesign. And I can share this presentation, so you will get all those links. So you don't need to jot down all of this frantically. Okay, now you can just play with it. And Carrie is in this course is anti-racist with me, and she already started playing with her syllabus for modern American literature, and she used Pictochart. I went to Canva and I just started. You can see it. So it's very easy. Even though it's the end of the semester, it doesn't require much time, and you can all do it. The only, so you can save it later on as a PDF, and you will be sharing your syllabus with your students as a PDF. Very quickly, I'll just show you those 2 platforms, how they look visually, and what you need to click on in order to get started. So, oops. No. Okay, so here's Pictochart, and you can see these are all the templates for infographics that you can use for your syllabus. I think I just scrolled over the template that Carrie used. So yeah, you can see that Carrie used this template with nice flowers, right? So you'll just click on use template. It will appear for you. You can move the text, right? You can add shapes and icons. You can add illustrations. So it's already here. It's already free. You can use your own photographs or your own images. You can add 1 more page if you're not using it for creating a flyer, but for a syllabus. And then you'll just download this as a PDF and you have it. And what I like about Pictograph as well is that they have this blog, Inspire Me. So you can get some very interesting creative ideas and you can see what people use this platform for. And this is Canva, where I started playing with it. So you can once again insert charts. the charts are already here. You can insert different elements, right? Different icons. And then you'll just change the font, you will change the content, and you have a nice looking syllabus. And that's it.
All right, let's see what we have for chat. Maybe if you just raise your hand, oh, let's see if I can see you. All right, okay, someone want to, Linda, do you have any other questions?
Sophie had her hand up. I'll
Oh,
let her go
great.
first.
Okay, good.
Are you trying to limit your syllabus to one page? Some of these,
No, it won't be one page. We are gifted, but not that gifted. So Jen's was, I think, a 4-page long syllabus. So it definitely wouldn't be 15 or 12 or any other awful amount of pages, but it still would be a couple of pages.
have you tried to print it? Do you need to do a color printing? Does it come out nice black and white? Like, sometimes you might need a hard copy. Have you tried to print it out?
Right, you can, if you have a colored printer, it will come out as colored, but I do feel that some students do print out their syllabi. However, for most of them, an electronic version will suffice.
Does it come out in, can you print it though? I mean, is it readable when you print it? So
Yeah.
it's readable. Oh, and then,
So yes, you can save it as either, there are several formats you can save it in. Jan saved hers, I saved mine, Carrie saved hers as PDFs, but Pictochart offers other formats for saving.
Did the deans have any issues with those? Because I just see them going, I can't find everything now.
I don't know. Jen said that she's been using it for a couple of semesters and they were no issues for her.
When you have to update it, because I update it frequently, unfortunately, especially the calendar part, do you do that within a PDF editing or do you go back to the platform?
It's up to you. I think you can do it both ways. Your templates are saved, so you can go back to Pictochart or to Canva and just edit it there. Just edit a certain part of your syllabus.
when you first did it, how long did it take?
Well, I haven't done it. I just started. Carrie's been playing with hers for a week, like 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, but I'm not sure how long it takes to create the whole syllabus. I just thought that the timing is nice since the summer is coming. So maybe we do have time to invest into this project.
Do you think, Gordon, that's a great tool to try. That's great, Gordon. Do you think it would work for, like, to have a workshop on it? Would that, or do we just have to, do you think we just have to do it on our own?
Sure, I think it would be interesting to look at other people's syllabi.
Okay. So what are you supposed to do with that now?
Okay, someone needs to, someone needs to mute.
Charlene, you're not muted.
Sally, you can mute people.
Oh, here, let me actually,
Laura, do you know if there is an accessibility checker? And I'm asking this because whatever I do in
Right.
PowerPoint.
I also thought about it as one of possible downsides, but as far as I know, PDFs can be made accessible. So PDFs usually don't have that many issues with accessibility, but we also need to think about maybe having 2 syllabi if
The
any
2
accessibility issues arise. So I need to investigate accessibility further. Good point, Daniela. Thank you.
Just to add, whatever I do in PowerPoint, PowerPoint also has many visual, arrows or images, and you have to add alternative text for all the images, for all the borders, for all the numbers, no, but anything visual. And I get to the point where it's really, there is a balance. I am visual from all points, but even with the PDFs, they are not granted. So the moment you download them in Blackboard, you get those red, orange, or green gauges. And basically Blackboard Ally, the accessibility tool, will send you back to editable document. I think actually, Valerie, you're from the disability. Do you want to add more? You're muted.
Yes, the PDFs actually are not that accessible. And so if we're looking for somebody, for example, who has vision issues and things like that, a Word doc is actually far better for other readers to use. So we do need to definitely worry about this. And I agree that you may need to have multiple versions. I love the visual piece of it. So for me, having something like that to work with my students would be amazing. And I think some of our students would be great, but some of them, whether it be just the visual overstimulation or the need for a reader to read that, we do need to be aware of that. So Danielle,
my plan for my classes was to save my regular Word syllabus and then create a visual syllabus where I will post a visual syllabus, but would say, guys, if this format doesn't work for you, here it is in Word.
That's great. That's great. I actually think that's great.
I want to.
All right, we only have time for like one more question or comment. Okay, just so Danielle.
Sally, that would be a good segue if the discussion will go to VoiceThread. Just to let you know right now that we will have a VoiceThread embedded in Blackboard with the premium license. A nice activity with the syllabus, so that is complementary, would be to create a VoiceThread where basically you guide students, and this is especially for asynchronous courses. Basically, you record yourself annotating and talking about your syllabus and pinpointing, important things throughout the syllabus, and maybe requiring some feedback from students or embedding like a syllabus quiz into the VoiceThread. So this is something down the line that it's complementing, Lara, this infographic suggestion.
Okay, so why don't we get started then on the VoiceThread? Why don't we do that then? Are you going to do it, Danielle or Roxanne?
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Roxanne McCory in the Department of Academic Technology, and I'm going to go over VoiceThread. It's brand new. We have just adopted it as of last week. So Danielle and I, and even people that I recognize on the call right now, were on a training session from VoiceThread yesterday. It was excellent. They do a really nice job. So VoiceThread can be a little bit tricky to learn it at first, just to understand the interface. I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding how the whole thing works. But once you understand that, I think it's a really easy tool and a nice tool. So I'm just going to jump into that. Share my screen. What screen are you seeing of mine?
This
The one
VoiceThread homepage.
Instructional design support.
Oh, yes. So wait, are you seeing VoiceThread homepage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So that's where I want to bring you is, so what you'll do with VoiceThread, it is a single sign-on. It's integrated with Blackboard. So instructors will get a pro account and students will get a basic account. And you'll get it just by logging into VoiceThread. So you'll log in here. I have my instructional design support course. And anywhere on my course menu, I'm going to log into the content area. So for here, I just put any content area. And when I click into that, I'm now in here and I want to go to build content. And I want to go down to VoiceThread. Okay, so can everyone see the VoiceThread there?
Yes.
Build content VoiceThread. If you remember that today, that's good in itself because then you can go practice it even on your own. All right, so I'm going to click in that VoiceThread right there. And this is what's going to authenticate VoiceThread with your Blackboard. So you're going to set up your Blackboard VoiceThread integration. And so you'll do that through a password, which I've already done here. So when I come into here, I have some options. I can create an individual VoiceThread. I can create an assignment VoiceThread. I can create a course view for my students or a VoiceThread homepage for my students. So for purposes, I'm very visual as well. So I'm going to I want to show it to you before I explain it. So I'm going to go in here. I just clicked on the home page button and I want to type in VoiceThread home page and I'm going to save it. So you'll do this as well. Save and continue. And then I can X out of there. When I come back to my course, I'm just going to refresh my page. And you can see here, I created this VoiceThread homepage. When I click into that, it opens up all of my VoiceThreads. So each one of these is an individual VoiceThread. And what VoiceThread is, again, it's an asynchronous tool. So it's not live, it's asynchronous. And it's basically a way that you can do a lecture, a presentation, an announcement, office hours for your students, whether it's your hybrid course, whether it's an online course, you can even use it in a face-to-face course. So each one of these has several slides within them. But what makes VoiceThread different is that it allows for interactivity. So for right now, I might be lecturing to you in your class or explaining a concept or topic to you, but I'm not live. You're listening to me at another time when I pre-recorded this for you and you can watch it on your own time. So that's really what makes VoiceThread a nice tool. So there's a few things I want to show you first. When you put that VoiceThread homepage link into your course, so once you have it, you log into your course and you're in your content area and here you added the VoiceThread homepage, right? When you click into it, the VoiceThread homepage, if you add that to your course, it gives students access to all of their VoiceThreads or any VoiceThreads that are shared to them among all their courses. And you also have access to all of your VoiceThreads. So that's what I'm seeing right now. Now, if I added just the course view homepage, students would only see the VoiceThreads within that course. So that's kind of nice because it limits it that they're only accessing in there just the VoiceThreads you created for that course. Before I jump into actually creating a VoiceThread, I want to show you some tools that are really important to know. I don't usually ever use this help button, but VoiceThread has a really excellent technical support. So if I click on help, you'll find that the VoiceThread has some basics. Things like when I open VoiceThread, the page does not load. How are students' instructors' accounts created under my license? How do I set up course groups? So there's basics, there's creating tutorials, there's sharing on how you share your VoiceThread tutorials, and commenting, how you comment. And you can also do a search to pull up all kinds of other tutorials. So I definitely encourage you first to check help before reaching out to Danielle and I, because this probably will help you better than we possibly may be able to. The other thing is down here you have About. So if you click on About, you can also contact VoiceThread technical support. They're excellent, and there's a lot of like frequently asked questions and things that you can access in there. You can also access research that's been done on VoiceThread. So there's been a lot of research done that shows its effectiveness in the classroom. You can access the blog, which talks about, a lot of other instructors talk about what they've done with VoiceThread in their class. And then features, you know, in product features, you can access those. If we move over here to the training icon, you can see that there's all kinds of free workshops, and there's a bunch of them coming up, you know, things that are more, today I'm kind of giving you a survey, like an overview, but this is specific to how do you want to create groups? You know, how do you want to, you know, record a video or something specific. That the workshops are more specific here. And then there's also a digital library in here of additional voice threads that people share. All right. When we go up here, there's also this 3 icon thing. And when you go into this, you can also click on your tutorials. And in the tutorials, students will see these and instructors will see these. And the tutorials are how to create a voice thread, how to comment on a voice thread, how to share your voice thread, how to use the doodle annotation tool, how to, what comment moderation is, what that means, and also how you comment within a video. So this is nice here because you have all of your tutorials in here as well. Okay. Another thing that you'll see down here is you're going to see this little icon. And if you click on it, you'll see all your groups. So there's groups that you can create in here. Let's just say you work closely with another instructor and you want to create a template, specific a VoiceThread template that you want to share for specific courses. You can do that within groups. You can create groups, but these courses are also groups as well. Okay, so each one of these are in here because these are my courses within Blackboard. All right, so I'll go back to that in just a little bit. But what I first want to do is show you also if I click on this drop down up here, I can also go to my identities and I can add, I can actually add my image up here. Okay, so you can do that. So one thing I encourage you to do is just kind of look around and see what the different buttons do. Then I can go back to home. I can see all of my voice threads, and I can actually go in and create a voice thread. Okay, so I'm going to first, though, before I do that, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go in this way. And I do have my voice thread here, but that's not how I'm going to create. I'm going to go to build content and go to voice thread. Okay, I set up my VoiceThread homepage so the students can access all of their voice threads within their course. I'm also going to set up a course view so they can only access the course. But now I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes. And I'm going to say, do I want to do an individual voice thread, or do I want to create an assignment? Now, this is really where the meat and potatoes is of VoiceThread. Individual VoiceThread is probably the tool that you will use the most within VoiceThread. It's not graded. So individual voice threads that you create here, these do not go into the grade center. Assignment builder, there's 3 different types of assignments, and they're called watch, where you want to have a student watch something. Comment, where you want to have a student comment, like say a minimum of commenting 2 times on the presentation, or you might want them to comment exactly 3 times on the presentation. And the other one is create, when you want students to create something, create a presentation, create their own PowerPoint and narrate it, you know, that's the assignment builder piece. I'm not going to cover assignment builder today, but know that a lot of the settings are the same between individual and assignment. The main difference is that in assignment, you get a lot more settings to select, you know, like a grade. You get settings like, do you want other students to be able to see the students' work? Like maybe you might have you'll have a student gallery, and you can allow students access to that gallery to see other students' work. So when you create something in an assignment, the only real difference is what the settings are that you set for that assignment. Okay, so we're going to go within to the individual voice thread, and I could, if I wanted to, I could pull up any of my voice threads that I've already created, or I can just create a new voice thread. And this is really simple. You just click on add media, and I can either browse here and add media from my computer. I can actually add media sources. So I can click on my voice threads. I can add images from the Creative Commons Flickr. I can go to my Google Drive. Also images again from the New York Public Library. And soon Zoom will be integrated into this too, because that's another tool that we have. And anything else that we have, we can integrate other tools in here as well. Okay. So if there's something you're interested in integrating, let me know. I can look into it. All right, so we go back. Then there's audio recordings. That's like a podcast. You can create just a podcast. You can also take a picture of yourself and have that just be a static picture while you record your audio. That's not very exciting. Most people don't use these two. They tend to use like maybe the webcam video instead. So that would be like me right now talking while you're seeing my slides. You can also add in URLs such as a YouTube video, okay? So for now, I'm gonna upload from my computer. Go in there, I'm gonna find something to upload here. I guess I'll just do whatever's on my first selection. I'm gonna give it a title, so VoiceThread Basics. I can give it a description as well. First training. Okay. And it's really important to make sure that you're labeling and titling your voice threads so that you, when you go back to search them, you know what they are. So you really want to start out with good labeling, good tagging, and good descriptions. Okay. It'll help you in the long run when you start, the more you start creating these voice threads. Then I want to go to playback options. And so in playback options, what you want to decide is if you're creating a presentation and say you're going to be talking about, you know, US history, and you're going to cover a certain chapter or topic, and it's going to be about, you know, 20 minutes long, your presentation. You want to ask yourself, do I want to enable thread commenting? If you enable thread commenting here, it's going to allow students to respond back to your presentation. So it's a way of having discussion asynchronously. And it's really a nice thing because students can respond back where you can actually see each other. You know, you can even see hand gestures, or, you know, just something I like to do, which is a little different than say just the voice thread, right? I'm sorry, just the discussion board. So you can decide that. There might be sometimes you say, I don't want students commenting back on these because I don't want to distract them on something else I want them to do. You can also allow commenters to add slides to this voice thread. This makes me think about introduction that one of the instructors does that has students upload a Google slide to introduce all their students. This is an example of how you could also do this here, where you could have each student add a slide about themselves and they could all see each other's slides. Also, you can allow others to download the original media, allow others to export it. If they export it, it exports in a PDF file. I like this option, start playing when open, so that it just automatically starts playing as soon as students open it because they might not know what to do. Allowing others to make a copy. For example, if you're creating groups, you want to make sure that you allow others to make a copy, that they can copy your template or copy whatever it is you're sharing with them in the group, okay? This one, enable comment moderation. I'll explain that right now, but basically what a comment moderation is, if you enable that, it
All right,
means
whatever.
that
I mean,
students cannot.
I'd love to see you if you're going to stay till Sunday. I mean, at least
Students.
stay till I go home.
Oh, yeah.
I can
Okay,
hear
okay.
someone on the voice. I can hear someone.
All right, maybe I'll leave on Monday.
You're
You can
muted,
mute.
Susan.
Please.
Susan, you're unmuted.
Okay, so if
We should ask Emily for sure. I mean, isn't her birthday on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I guess you can talk to her if when you see her. on
Susan,
Saturday.
hello,
It's not
Susan.
Susan.
You
It's
could always,
does. I don't think
delay
it's.
by a couple of days.
Who is
Is
it?
it
Hello?
Susan?
Yeah.
Oh, it
Sally,
is
you can
Susan.
click
Yeah.
on the participants and you can mute her,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Sally.
too much. I have to like drive up and drive back. I feel
You
like.
click on participants, it
Oh,
gives you
it's
the
already
long
Tuesday.
list.
Yeah, if you're going to try to get back on Saturday.
Okay, you'll come back in, Roxanne.
Roxanne, you have to unmute now. Just yourself.
Yes, I can. Thank you. I'm always afraid someone's going to say something that no one really needs to hear. And so I'm always like, stop talking. Okay. So that enable comment moderation is really good for assessment. So if you don't want students to hear each other's comments, then you want to click on enable comment moderation. It's good for assessments. It hides other students' comments so that they only come to you. And another thing with these is that, yeah, only the instructor sees those comments. Okay, so that's what you would want to do here, is if you want to hide the comments. The other thing here moving in is this is how students are able to comment. They can comment either with their microphone, their webcam, such as I'm doing now, telephone, which is an important option for some students, uploading a file, like an MP4 file, or text, they can type it in. And then these are just some other settings. I'm not going to go over these, but these are some other settings that you can use. And then you click save. All right, so once I've done that, I added my media. I can always go back in and add more media here. One thing about your VoiceThread, it's always constantly a working document that you can continue to add to. So I can go back up to options. I can copy this VoiceThread. I can edit my playback settings again. I can delete it. And it's always good to make an extra copy of your VoiceThread, because it's good to have one that is set as like an archive. So create a VoiceThread that is not going to have student comments in it. And although every time you copy over your course that has a VoiceThread, it's going to copy over the VoiceThread comments. This might be a little bit higher level than we need right now, but I think it's good to know that right away, that when you copy over your course, if it has VoiceThread comments, they're going to copy over too. So it would be good to create a template of each course that doesn't have any markups already in it from students, you know, just your own lectures or comments or whatever it is you've created. Okay. So now here, my next thing after add media is I want to comment. Okay. Commenting is the next thing. And you can see here, here comes my slide. A couple things I can do here, a couple features. You can always increase the speed of the talking, or when you're listening, you can increase how fast, like if some reason someone speaks really slow and you're like, I've got to move through this, you know, presentation quicker, you can increase the speed of their talking. You can also, when you're zooming in here, get rid of that. When you're talking here, you can always zoom in. So if you have an image, like say, you know, you're showing an image of the brain or something, you can zoom in really clear while you're presenting this. And you can also at any time look back on all your slides again to re-edit them by clicking on this button right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment. So I'm going to click on that plus sign. And how I'm going to comment is I'm just going to use my microphone. So I'm going to click on that. And so what I'll do is I'll show you that you can actually hover over this doodle. And this is the doodle annotation. And I want to pick a color that I think is going to work well. So I'll pick the purple. And I'll say, we're going to talk about VoiceThread today. And I can zoom in. And I want you to take a look at this specifically here. And, you know, that would obviously be if it was something important. I can also select here, no fade. So see how my comments are starting to fade away, but I might not want them to fade away. So I can click on this and click on no fade. Okay. So if I were to use this again, I want to make sure it says no fade right here so that these stay. And then I can stop my recording and it will buffer up. It's going to play it back. And so what I'll do is I'll show you that you can actually hover over this doodle. And this is the doodle annotation. And I want to pick a color that I think is going to work well. So I'll pick the purple and I'll say, we're going to talk about VoiceThread today. And so you can see I increased the speed there too. I increased the speed while I was looking at it. I can then decide, do I want to save this or do I want to continue recording? So I can still continue recording, which is a really nice feature. So maybe I needed to pause, answer the doorbell, or maybe I needed to pause and just take a break, or regroup my notes, but I can still continue on.
Now,
Okay.
Roxanne, you have about 5 more minutes, so
Okay,
however you
okay,
want.
good, perfect. So I'm gonna click save. And then as soon as I save that, it's buffering and you can see that here's my comment here. Now, when students go in, they're gonna be able to click on something called the reply button. And there's different, this is a square box, which means that this is a direct reply to this voice thread. The circle means it's a reply to my comment, okay? This is a circle, so it's a reply to this, all right? So I'm just gonna see what I do wanna cover in those last 5 minutes. I covered the comment moderation, the doodle annotation. I covered the shapes of the sizes. So these are with how the different voice threads mean certain things. So when I'm done with this, I can actually click out of it and then I can share it with the class. I can click share with the class. And then I can click what it is. I could say this is voice thread demo and save it. And then save and continue. I just click out of this, go back to my course. I have to click the refresh button. And there it is. There's my voice thread demo. This is what students will see. Now, if I created a course page in here, this would go into the course page. So because if you're going to create several voice thread demos, you could create just a course page so that all of them would reside in that course page. Or you can just put this demo within any content group. Within any content group, you can build your voice thread demo, voice thread link built within your Blackboard course, okay? So to finish up, this is basically, students would now access it here. And they move through the presentation. And so what I'll do is I'll show you that you can, they move through the slides and they move through each of them. And if they're allowed to comment, if you've given them the option to comment on the slides, it will show through here. The comments will show to the left. Okay, you'll see my image, or you'll see Jane's image, or you know, Yoakum, or you'll see certain people, you know, is images that they can reply to each other. Now, keep in mind that none of this will be graded, but you could make those threads graded by creating it as an assignment, okay? And that would have been the create assignment option. So when I go back to create again, what I want you to keep in mind when you add media and you add some media to your course, it might buffer and, I add a title here and then a description, put all that in. So here it is. This is very important. You add media, you continue to add media, you comment to add your comments on it, and then you share it, okay? And if you built it right within that course, you're gonna end up sharing it right within this course. And this is accessing it through Blackboard. Once you've create your account, it's like Zoom. You can go directly into voicethread.com and you can actually work on VoiceThread through the client application. Okay, just like you can do in VoiceThread and managing your accounts better. You don't have to just work on it through Blackboard. But my point is if you go to the blogs and use some of these resources, you can really see some good ideas. And I think the more we start using it, we'll learn from each other some really good best practices. And there is a work there on the professional development website, on Peter's professional development website. There's a workshop next week that I'm giving and a workshop the following week that I'm giving. And you can also access the free workshops here. And I've also posted on the online learning website, I did post the hour-long workshop that Megan from VoiceThread did yesterday. And it's really, really good. So if you do go in and log in to faculty and staff, and you go to online learning resources, you'll see in VoiceThread I added right here, you can access the hour-long tutorial from Megan, and it's excellent, very good. Because it does take a little bit of time to get used to the interface, although I think the tool is really quite simple to use.
Okay, thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
That was outstanding, Daniela and Roxanne. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I was going to ask if you have workshops. So it sounds like if you would be interested in some type of workshop, just do a thumbs up. If you go reactions in the bottom, just we're not taking names here, just to get an idea if you'd be interested in a workshop, or do you think you're okay? I'd like a workshop.
Yeah, we'll post him. I'll post him in the chat.
That's great. That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for preparing it.
Thank you.
For getting a lot done in a half hour. So really, we appreciate it. Okay, so on to Peter Shea, who's the Director of Professional Instructional Development. He's going to highlight and answer inquiries about an opportunity to participate in the June cohort in an ACUE micro course on equitable teaching. So the ACUE course is a course that we had for new faculty for 2 years. Kathy McCarran and I were the facilitators for it, and there's faculty here who are mentors. And it's really was an outstanding course. I mean, really outstanding. I didn't think I'd like an online course, but we learned a lot, and it was very well organized. So it comes with a lot of credentials, and it comes recognized. So it's, if you can do it, it's worth your time. I would definitely say it's worth your time. Okay, Peter, you're on, and the screen share is available, so you can do.
Thank you very much.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I'll try. I'll be as tight as possible. That was a great lead-in, Sally. I'm flabbergasted. I'm not sure what I can add at this point. Thank you. ACUE has been a organization devoted to improving higher education teaching by infusing knowledge of evidence-based practice. We used them about 2 years ago for a year-long cohort, which was very successful. And this March, we used ACUE again for a micro course on inclusive teaching, which is just finishing up this week. And the response from the faculty who participated, as with the first case, was very, very positive. And we are contracted with them for 2 more cohorts. One will be in June. Most of the slots have already filled up, but we do have a few slots available. And so we wanted to make members of SoTL aware of that for those who are interested and who have not yet registered. Even if you register for this event and we can't fit you into this cohort, bear in mind there is one more cohort for this, which will be made available. And I'll take a second to screen share here, and let's see if I can. This is a little flyer from ACUE about the content of the summer course. The summer ACUE course is entitled Inclusive Teaching for Equitable Learning. It's a 5-week, 5-module course with one synchronous meeting at the beginning for orientation and one at the end as a wrap-up, but it's mostly an asynchronous course where you go in, look at the content, engage in discussion, complete reflections. And it comes to about an average of, I would say, 3 to 4 hours a week in terms of work. For participants, there'll be a $250 stipend provided by the Office of the Provost. And again, it aligns beautifully with our equity agenda. So again, this cohort for June has a few slots available. If you're interested in this, I would encourage you to register, and I'll drop the link in the chat in a moment, because even if we can't fit you into this one, you'll be on the waiting list for the next cohort, which will take place either in late summer or quite possibly in the fall. I've been co-facilitating the current course with Daniela. Daniela, is there anything that you wanted to add or to say?
Hi, everyone. I think the best people to share, the opinion would be the students in this cohort. What I like about ACUE is that you really learn concrete practices, like hands-on, and also you have access to their resources. It can be as simple as a discussion board rubric tackling the problem of, students just, reinforcing each other's opinions so they don't go into like deeper meanings. ACUE put together a great discussion board rubric to kind of instruct students, to go and put more beef on the bone, so to speak. But it's just a great resource. And in addition to ACUE, I learned many things from our colleagues. So in this cohort, our MCC instructors share their tips, their tricks. I remember Jenna Rabas, sharing her Padlet, such a great resource, and many, many other. I remember Carrie Gamache sharing and Ana Garcia sharing their slides on, how do they encourage to how do they encourage their students to introduce themselves. Many, many, many grateful resources, and I think it's just a great way to kind of shake it up. As educators, I think we are prone to learn things all the time and to get inspired. So that's a good way to be inspired in a very, very concrete way.
Wonderful, thanks. And I want to quickly respond to a question from Jill. Jill asked in the chat, will this be available on a continuing basis go forward? At the present moment, we were contracted in the spring and the summer for 99 faculty. And we used some of the incentive funds for the contract. If there is interest going forward beyond that number of faculty, I'm fairly certain that President-elect Sisson will be more than happy to support that. Insofar he's been a big fan of ACUE. So if there, I would say cautiously, if there is interest, we could certainly move forward with that. But right now we have plenty of room. We're going to the second cohort, and we will be going later on into the third cohort. And again, I will be posting very quickly in the chat the link to the registration, the form of interest, where you can say, I'm interested in either joining this cohort or the next one, and we will keep that as a record. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or Daniela. Jill and Sally, thank you for the time. I'm going to give it back to you, and my last act here will be to post the link to the chat. Thank you all, and have a great end of the semester.
Peter, thank you very much. Thank you for presenting this and taking care of us. All right, who has to turn off your mute? Put on your mute.
Sally, you can individually mute people by going into
I know.
participants.
I know. I'm gonna mute everyone. Okay, we'll just mute everyone.
Or else you don't have to.
I'm fine. I'll just mute everyone, and then you can unmute yourself. All right. Okay. I hope you can unmute yourself. All right. So next we have Jordana. She'd like to do a quick comment about the book club.
Actually, it's a quick comment about the library.
Oh, it's about the library. Okay. All right,
coming
good.
out this evening is going to be a survey about it's part of the college is doing strategic development, and the library is also doing our own strategic development. And we would really, really value, especially SoTL participants, participation in this survey. We're guessing it might take about 10 minutes to complete. Whether you're an Uber library user like Louisa, or whether you haven't used the library much, we'd still love your input, because if there's something that we can be doing to help you and your students, we'd love to know. So there's click 1 through 5 answers, and there's short answers, and there's slightly longer answers. So there's room to really let us know if there's something you want us to know about. We'd really value your input. Also, next week, the library is also offering 2 workshops. On Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we're offering a workshop called Textbook Talk about choosing textbooks and if the librarians can be of any assistance to you. And on Thursday, we're offering a workshop on a new product to us called Faculty Select, which helps. It's like a search engine for finding OER, Open Educational Resources. So if you're interested in OER and haven't explored it much before, come on Thursday afternoon. We're going to record that session too, but those signups you'll see signups for those in Newscaster as well as on the library website. Thank
All
you
right.
so much in advance.
Jordana, can you do you have that link to put for the survey that you can put
I
in the
don't,
chat?
it hasn't been
Okay.
published yet. It's
Okay.
getting published tonight. So,
Okay, and you don't want to say anything about the book club?
and the book, we had a fabulous book club. If you're interested, if you wish you had participated and you have suggestions for summer reading, you can send them to me and I'll add them to our Google document, and then I can share that back with Sally and Jill, and it's sort of like a group project of summer reading.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I like that. Okay, my spare time, in our spare time. Okay. All right, very good, Jordana. Thank you, and thank you and Peter for facilitating, Peter Mascalek for facilitating the book club. All right, thank you very, very much for that. All right, and then Jill, do you want to talk about the Get Inspired conference? I don't know where you are. Do you want to talk about that
I'm here.
or not?
How about you do so?
Okay, I'm gonna do a quickie on that. Okay, so our Get Inspired conference is Tuesday, May 25th. It's our 10th. How many of you were here at the first Get Inspired? There must be some of us that were here at the first one. And it's going to be the theme. Okay, I have to find the paper. What's the theme, Jill? Can you remember the theme?
The theme is pathways to increasing student
achieving
belonging.
So it's about student belonging. Okay, so the whole theme is around creating a culture of student belonging, and our keynote speaker is Pitsamai Ayu from UMass Lowell, who is Laotian American, and she's I just was reading her bio. She's the first Laotian American to receive a doctorate in education from Harvard, and she's the first one who was actually hired in a university in the United States. She's at UMass Lowell. She's done a lot of work with Anapisi. Jill and I met with her a week ago. She's like fabulous. I mean, she's just really fabulous. So I will send out, we have the invitation done and we'll go out today. I was trying to push it in the newscaster today, but I got foiled by a couple of things. So, and the link is right on the invitation. So you just click on it and it's just a simple thing. You give your name, department, and email address. It's a Thursday and it's going to go from 8:45 to 12:30. Okay. So that's the time. And then what we'll also have is a focus group with students who will share about, Jill's going to lead the focus group on their experience of belonging at Middlesex, like what their experience of being here at the college. And then they'll be followed by breakout sessions where we'll cover different aspects of culture of belonging. So if you have any ideas of what we could put in a breakout session, we usually have well, last year we had 120 people at this conference. So for breakout sessions, probably about 80 or something. So if you have any ideas for breakout sessions that you around belonging that you would like to contribute, let us know, and we haven't fully decided on what they are yet. All right. Does anyone have any questions? But please come. Okay, please come. And anybody have any questions on the conference? Anybody okay? Okay, good. And via Zoom. All right. Okay, so that's it for that part. And then we'll move on to our 100 more faculty. And we have some generous people who said they'd share. And the first one is Sophie because she has to leave. Okay, so Sophie, why don't you, should be able to unmute yourself and you can show things if you want.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about, Sally said I can talk about how I try to include all my students to feel belonging in my classroom. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm part of the Faculty Academy, the first year